What is up, my friends? It is Emery, and I am
back.
I hope. I'm gonna try to be more consistent, and people keep asking for new videos because they're interested in learning more, and now I feel like I have an obligation to educate people as much as I possibly can. And it's always been my passion to educate people more about LGBT issues and things that they don't understand about it. I really want to be open and answer questions as needed and do all of these things, so I'm trying to plan more and make sure that I'm getting out content to people so that they understand what's going on. So here we go.
Let's get started.
This week, I'm going to try to post once a week on Thursdays. And so this week, I'm going to start out with a topic that I keep getting requests for me to talk more about. And that topic is how to be a better ally. So I'm going to talk about 5 ways, 5 tips, plus a bonus probably, about how I think you can start off being a better ally. Tip number 1 for being a better ally is to stay educated. So no important topic on this planet is a stagnant topic. There's no thing in this world, no topic that stays exactly the same forever, or that we view in exactly the same way forever. So make sure that in the LGBT community, you're looking out for news stories, new upcoming controversial issues, any kind of talk around where you are, like in your community. If something pops up that has to do with the LGBT community, try to stay on top of that topic and learn more continuously. And the more you pay attention, the more you'll understand. So just try to keep open ears and open eyes and know what's going on in the community. Tip number 2 for being a better ally is to ask questions. So if you know people within the community, ask them questions about how they feel comfortable being addressed, how they feel comfortable being out in the world, if there's anything that they would like to see changed in society or in certain smaller environments. Just ask them about it and make sure that you understand what to look out for to better those spaces for those people. Tip number 3 is to know more than one LGBT person. So don't be that guy that's like,
Oh, I have a gay friend, so I know what it's like to be gay.
Make sure that you are meeting more people within the community, even trying to network through somebody that you do know. To know different types of people in the LGBT community is really important, because one person in the community is by no means an expert on the entire community. We all only have the number of labels that we have, and we are who we are, and we can't know everyone else's experience. So it's really important to know several different people and get different perspectives from people of different ability levels, people of different colors, people of different labels within the LGBT community, and all sorts of facets of types of people, because they all experience things differently, and the more well-rounded your knowledge is, the better an ally you can be. Tip number 4 is to speak up, not over. So this means make sure that you are speaking to defend people in the LGBT community. If you are very aware that something would be universally disrespectful to people in the LGBT community, stand up and say something. We all obviously know that when slurs are being said by certain people, or just people are being talked about in a really negative way, we all know that we should step up and say something in those situations. But there are other situations that you might have recently learned are not super offensive, but it may make people feel unwelcome. Those are situations where you step up and say, hey, that's not really cool how you said that. Maybe go about saying it in a different way, and then you can be reaching out and making new allies through other people, as long as you stay respectful and you speak about things from the experience that you've gained from people in the LGBT community. As far as not speaking over people, this is really important in situations where an LGBT person may be there in a situation where you feel like you need to speak up, and you speak first or speak over them when they are trying to explain themselves. So if you jolt to respond in a certain situation, you may actually be saying something that might make it worse. So make sure you're giving the LGBT person a chance to speak, and make sure you know if that person would like you to speak up in that situation, because you may be outing them unintentionally if you speak too quickly about something. So try to be respectful of the people in the space. Know that you're not outing them by standing up for them, and maybe just speak more generally about the community instead of pointing out maybe your friend who's there. Tip number 5 is to check in with people. So if you have friends in the LGBT community and you hear something maybe in the news or in your local environment that may be a big, shocking, jarring thing for an LGBT person, or as an example, if you heard about something like the Orlando shooting, that was a really, really hard time for the LGBT community, and specifically LGBT people of color would probably really like it if their friend reached out on that day and said, hey, I'm thinking of you, I really hope that you're okay. Don't expect anything of that person, but if you hear something like this, a big event happen, reach out and just make sure that they're okay. Again, don't expect that they need to speak with you back, but just reaching out and letting them know you're there is really important. Bonus tip number 6 for how to be a good ally is to put your pronouns in your bio of your social media accounts. So if you are a cis person who has no ties to the LGBT community except being an ally, it'd be really cool if you threw your pronouns into your bio. What this does is shows that, one, you think pronouns are important to a lot of people, and so you want to make sure that you can show that you think pronouns are important. And 2, it reinforces the idea that pronouns aren't inherent to a person, so that what they put out into the world may not exactly represent what people typically think their pronouns would be. So it's saying that those pronouns aren't obvious, here are my pronouns, and it makes people feel welcome. So that's a bonus tip number 6. Thank you for coming and watching this video. I hope that it was a little bit interesting and you learned something. Throw some tips in the comment section if you want to give more tips on how to be a good ally. I hope allies would go down and read those tips. I would like to have more and more of a wealth of knowledge of how to be a good ally, because I know there are a million more tips. I was just trying to keep it concise. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.